Happening now in King City, Ontario, Liberal leader Mark Carney is speaking. Let's listen in.
To try to be your Prime Minister because I felt we needed big changes in this country. Big changes guided by strong Canadian values with the goal of building Canada strong. And after Can you guys come with me for the next 2 days? It would be fantastic. Yes, okay, good. It's going to be fun. After I was chosen to lead my party and our country, we got to work. And in just 9 days, we made significant progress on an ambitious agenda. We saw that homes have become far too expensive. You know this in the GTA. So we cut taxes on them. And we set out a strategy to build twice as many of them every year using Canadian technology, Canadian skilled trades, Canadian lumber. Yeah. We saw that the capital gains tax hike was stifling the builders and innovators that we need, so we got rid of it. We reversed it. We recognized that the consumer carbon tax was too divisive, so we eliminated it on day one, saving Canadians up to 18 cents per litre at the pump. Nous avons élargi l'accès au régime canadien de soins dentaires pour que
broaden dental care so that 5 million more Canadians can take advantage of it. We've strengthened our relationship, trade commercial, with Europe, France, and the UK so that our exporters are less dependent on the US.
At
the end of my first week as PM, I've gathered all the premiers and we decided to remove obstacles that stop trade and mobility of the labor force in the country, because we want one single economy for Canada, not 13.
And a little over a month ago, we entered the most consequential election of our lifetimes. And that's because we are in the biggest crisis of our lifetimes. President Trump is trying to fundamentally restructure the international trading system. And in the process, he is rupturing the global economy.
The economic uncertainty has reached an unprecedented level, and it's a break to investment. No investor wants to build a new plant or hire new workers while the tariff threat continues to weigh on the economy.
President Trump has demonstrated the cost and the consequences of our democratic choices. President Trump
has upset the global economy, and he has betrayed Canada, the U.S. best ally. He threatens Canadian business, he threatens Canadian workers, he threatens our economies.
In a crisis, you have to prepare for the worst, not hope for the best. And this week, President Trump repeated his attacks on Canada. He said that he's not just trolling, that he means what he says. As I've been warning for months, America wants our land, our resources, our water, our country. President Trump is trying to break us so that America can own us. And while that will never happen, our world has fundamentally changed. Our old relationship with the United States is over. The system of global trade anchored on the United States that Canada has relied on since the end of the Second World War, a system, while not perfect, but one that has helped deliver prosperity for our country for decades, is over. That's a tragedy, but it's also our new reality. Our task now is to chart a new course for Canada. Ensemble,
Together,
nous pouvons nous donner bien
we can give ourselves much more
que ce que les Américains peuvent nous enlever.
the Americans can
Alors que
take
les
away.
États-Unis si seuls, le Canada pourrait guider le monde.
Without the U.S., Canada can
How do we
guide the
lead
world.
How do we give ourselves more than the Americans can take away? Well, in a crisis, we must first distinguish between what we can change and what we can't. We can't change President Trump, so we need a leader that can stand up to him. My question. Vive le Canada! Vive le Canada! Wait. My question to Canadians is simple. Is Pierre Poilievre the person you want sitting across the table from Donald Trump negotiating for us? Unlike Pierre Poilievre, I'm not a career politician, but I have managed budgets before. I have managed economies before. I have managed crises before. This is a time for experience, not experiments. Right. Dans une crise, il faut bâtir.
We need to build,
détruire.
not destroy.
Dans une crise,
in a
il faut des
crisis,
actions
we need action,
audacieuses, pas de vieilles idées.
bold
Dans une
action,
crise, il
not
faut
old
rassembler,
ideas. In a
pas
crisis, we need to
diviser.
gather up, not
Nous sommes
divide.
maîtres chez nous.
We are masters at home.
We can and we will control our destiny with the right plan. Because in a crisis, plan beats no plan. And to win in a crisis, we know that we must act with overwhelming force to overcome the anxieties that people feel, to break through the uncertainties that businesses face, and to replace what the crisis is taking away. That's what our plan for Canada Strong will do. We will fight back against Trump's tariffs. We will protect our workers and businesses, and above all, we will build, baby, build. And that's important. That's important. That's important for the future of the students and the young people here today. You deserve homes that are affordable, careers that are fulfilling, an economy that works for you and for all Canadians. Avec notre plan, nous
With
allons
our plan,
bâtir des logements,
we'll build
faire
housing,
du Canada une superpuissance
make
énergétique,
Canada an energy
bâtir de bonnes
superpower,
carrières dans
build
les
good
métiers
careers
spécialisés,
in
et
specialized trades,
bâtir de
and
nouveaux
build
corridors commerciaux
new
avec
trade
des
corridors
partenaires
with
fiables.
partners, reliable
By ushering
partners.
in a new era of investment, jobs, and growth, our plan will create $20,000 in new growth for every Canadian over the next 5 years. Our plan will build Canada strong. I've been traveling across Canada for the last few months since I chose to enter politics. And in that time, I've met so many kind and generous and hardworking and patriotic Canadians. There are many stories, but I'll mention one. A few weeks ago, I met a teacher from Glen Williams Public School in Georgetown, Ontario. And she told me about a routine assignment that she'd given to her 9- and 10-year-olds. And the kids were asked to describe their dreams for Canada, and she shared them with me in a letter. Some of the children wrote about a country free from poverty. Others dreamt of clean air and water, or a place where everyone enjoyed equal rights, dignity, and respect. But many of the children wrote about tariffs and the threats to our sovereignty, words that I had not met at that age. And to quote one of them that represented them, I dream of a safe, a kind, and a clean Canada, a Canada that is not the U.S. So yesterday I had a chance to go back and meet with the children and respond. And I told them that I share their dream of a Canada where everyone is safe, where people are kind to each other, and where people can be who they want to be. I told them also that I understood their concerns about President Trump's threats, but because of them, because of their parents, their friends, and millions of Canadians like them, we will emerge stronger from this crisis than before. I told them that their ambitious dreams and their strong values are the foundations, the very foundations of a strong country, a Canada that's even better, a Canada that is worthy of their dreams. So to the students and the faculty, the friends and family here today at Seneca Polytechnic, and to all Canadians, I would say this: this is a critical election. There are some people on both sides of our border who claim that we're not a real country. They couldn't be more wrong. Canada is more than a nation. We are a confederation. We are a sacred set of ideas and ideals built on practical foundations. We know we're not perfect, but we always strive to be good. We do things not because they're easy, but because they are right. That much of the strength as a country, our strength lies in our resolve to work together in our unity. Because united, we have done hard things, seemingly impossible things throughout our history. United, we have built one nation in harsh conditions with sometimes a hostile neighbor. United, we've confronted our own past with Indigenous peoples. United, we have created universal public health care. Unis, nous avons bâti un pays qui ressemble des langues, des cultures.
We have built a country that gathers up languages, cultures, and faiths of all kinds. United, we have built essential cultural institutions like the CBC Radio Canada.
United today, we are buying Canadian. United, we are exploring everything our country has to offer. United, we are supporting our friends, our neighbors, in the crosshairs of President Trump. United, we are standing up for our nation. And united, we will win this trade war, and we will build the strongest economy in the G7 that works for everyone. We will win. That's right. So I'm asking for your support to unite our nation through this crisis, to protect the values we share, to build an even better country. I'm asking you to vote with me for positive reasons, regardless of which party you voted for or supported in the past. I'm asking for your vote to stand up to Donald Trump, to build a united Canada, to build a Canada. To build And we will build a Canada worthy of our values and bring our Canada closer to the dreams of our children. Build Canada strong. Thank you. And with that, happy to...
Thank you, Prime Minister. We'll now start with a question from the media delegation.
Good morning, Mr. Carney. Tom Perry with CBC. You've got a packed schedule for the last couple of days of the campaign. We're in a conservative riding right now, so I'm wondering, looking ahead, the ridings you're going to be visiting, the places you'll be going, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you playing offense or defense right now?
We're trying to speak to as many Canadians as possible, energize amazing groups of people like this. As I said, I mean, we are in the equivalent of Game 7 of the Stanley Cup in the last 2 minutes. And it's all to play for and intend to leave everything on the ice. So many Canadians back.
Next question.
Oui, bonjour, Monsieur Carney. Laurence Martin, Radio-Canada.
Yes, I'm from Radio-Canada. What is your greatest regret in this campaign?
C'est un peu comme ma réponse de la dernière question.
It's a bit like my answer to the last question. We have a country, a big country.
40 millions de personnes d'ici.
Well, there's 40 million people here.
J'aurais aimé
and I would have liked to talk to more people across the country. But the race is short, and the regret is not to have had the opportunity to talk to all Canadians. In your conversation with Donald Trump about the first 51st state, you said, looking back, I should have been more clear with the Canadians. Well, I'm comfortable with that because what's important is the results of the call. And the result that there will be in the negotiations that will start next week with the PM of Canada and the President of the U.S. And that's important in a negotiation like this with a global partnership. And the big question for the election is who will represent Canada.
Next question.
Hi, Mr. Carney. Brian Platt with Bloomberg. In your remarks today, you said you're going to stand up to Donald Trump, that you're the best negotiator. But when you speak at rallies, you actually go further than this. You say you're going to win a trade war, that Canada's going to win in this. Are you setting an unrealistic expectation for Canadians about what's coming over the next year or two when you say this?
I think Brian, there's a few things. Thank you for the question. The first is to put into context what's at stake here. If we just sit back, if we take what the Americans want, if we lose the negotiations, and I will use that term, if we lose the negotiation because we give them what they want, we will lose as a country. We will be damaged. We'll lose access to their market. They will do more damage to us. However, if we build this country strong, if we create one Canadian economy out of 13, that alone is bigger than the hit that we can get from the U.S. economy. But then if we go further and we double the pace of housing growth, we build clean energy, we build the energy transition and conventional energy as well, and we build out our very considerable trading opportunities around the world, we will give ourselves many multiples of that in terms of return. That's winning the trade war. Building Canada strong, that's winning the trade war. That's what we can do.
Next question.
Right.
Carney, Mackenzie Gray with Global News. Do you believe Donald Trump will leave office after he's done this term?
I've got enough to worry about right now. Thank you, Mackenzie. Look, the president has an ambitious agenda for the U.S., and he's just getting started, and he has a long time to do it. Very realistic about what that agenda means for our country, and if I'm able to earn the confidence of Canadians and represent Canada, we'll focus exclusively on what's best for Canada.
the reason I brought it up is because at the debate, when Mr. Blanchet was talking about pipelines being built, he said that, well, Mr. Trump will be gone by the time they're built. You piped in and said that he may try and stay on. So do you think he will stay on past his term?
You're listening very closely. Look, let me go to the comment about horizons for investments. Okay. No, but this is an important point. This is an important point. Do I believe I believe he'll respect the Constitution. How's that? Okay. En français,
in French,
à ce moment-ci,
at this time,
je crois
I believe that
qu'il va respecter
he will respect the U.S. Constitution.
Puis, but the point about investment quickly is we need to do things in the short, medium, and long term. But our ability to do things such as build big energy infrastructure in hydroelectricity and conventional energy pipelines, in your example, in that exchange, those are goods in and of themselves, but they improve our negotiating position with the Americans. Having options, building options, having alternatives, the growth that comes from that, that's good in and of itself, as I just said, but it actually gives you leverage. So it's important that we come together and make those decisions, and that's one of the reasons, my last point on this, is that when we met as first ministers, so-called first ministers, the premiers and myself, and Prime Minister Legault, we agreed that we would focus on nation-building projects, identify and focus on those quickly. And that's part of what I would do if Canadians give me their confidence, which is to get to a position where we've identified the big projects we're going to do. So we get moving on those, but also we show the Americans that we're not waiting for the phone to ring. Okay, we have other work to do. And when they're ready to have a serious discussion, we'll have a serious discussion.
Next question.
Bonjour, Monsieur Carney. Michel Sabat, la
Mr.
presse
Carney.
canadienne.
I'm with Canadian Press.
Donne votre parti
The polls are
gagnant.
giving
Certains de vos électeurs
your
peuvent se
party
dire,
winning.
Qu'est-ce que ça donne alors d'aller voter
What
dans
is
ce
the
cas-là?
point of voting in that
Point
case?
craignez-vous
To what
les conséquences
extent
d'une faible sortie de vote, y compris d'échapper une majorité?
of poor voter turnout, including losing a majority?
La seule chose que je peux faire,
The only thing I can do is to talk to Canadians,
nos messages,
to make our
sont
message
des messages positifs.
positive. They're positive messages. And at this time, with
C'est quoi les votes en avance?
the advanced voting,
C'est beaucoup plus élevé.
it's a lot higher than before. So
L'engagement des Canadiens,
the key engagement of Canadians is very high at this time.
je crois que
I think at this,
plusieurs Canadiens
many Canadians
vont voter, mais on verra. D'accord.
will vote, but we'll see. We'll
Votre
see.
avance, ce n'est pas une menace?
And is this
Votre avance dans les sondages,
Is
c'est pas
your-
une menace?
not a threat in your polls, the numbers?
Il y a une seule sondage.
There's a single poll that counts,
C'est lundi.
and that's Monday.
Look, all I can do and all I will do is to speak to as many Canadians as possible with our positive messages. And with respect to the participation, I just note the high level of engagement of Canadians on the ground in all forms of political activity, including in advanced polling, and expect that will continue.
Next question.
Good morning, Mr. Carney. Justin Ling, freelance. In recent weeks in the U.S., you've seen instances of deportations without due process to El Salvador. You've seen tourists arrested, detained, deported, and you've seen arrests of judges who have blocked these deportation orders. Given all of that, what message would you give to Canadians traveling to the U.S.? And do you have concerns about the state of the rule of law in America?
Well, I think what I'd say as follows is that the U.S. system is one of checks and balances, famously, and we have also seen a series of judgments in the U.S., for example, with respect to a recent judgment from memory, I'll get the exact date wrong, but a Boston judge with respect to certain forms of deportations that have been ruled, at least in in this instance, as illegal and that having force. So the American system has many checks and balances. At its core is the rule of law, and I expect that to continue. Yes, I'm concerned about certain circumstances, and of course we continue to monitor the behavior in the U.S. with respect to agreements that we have with them.
Next question.
Althea Raj, the Toronto Star. Polls suggest that you're on your way to majority government, but not with more than 50% of Canadians voting for you. So I'd like to ask you a double-barreled question, if I can.
Sure.
Do you think it's fair that you could possibly obtain a very strong majority mandate with less than a majority of the country voting for you? And we've seen in the last week you sharpening your attacks against Pierre Poilievre. We saw the crowd boo this morning. We saw them boo last night. We've seen the Conservative leader also sharpen his attacks, suggest that Liberals don't want people to own a house. They want people foraging for their food, or they believe that the Liberal future means that you will be foraging for our food. If you do win on Monday, what will you do to reach out to all the millions of people who will have voted for Pierre Poilievre?
Well, they're not going to have to forage for food. Look, I'm running to be Prime Minister of the country. I'm doing everything I can to be as transparent as I can about what we will do if we gain the confidence of Canadians under our system. But the Prime Minister of the country is the Prime Minister of the country, the Prime Minister of works for every Canadian all the time, regardless of who they voted for or whether they voted, and for young people who can't vote as well. So it's a tremendous responsibility, and it's one I view in its totality. So if I'm humbly speaking, if I gain that confidence through our system, absolutely, we'll work for all Canadians.
Next question.
Bonjour, Mélanie Marquis, la presse. Hier, le chef du Bloc québécois, M. Blanchet...
Yesterday, Mr. Blanchet said that Canada was an artificial country with no real meaning. What do you think of that, and what does that say about Mr. Blanchet?
C'est pour les autres gens
for other people to judge his comments. I reject them completely. I'm proud to be Canadian. There's a lot to be proud of in Canada, and it's an incredible country. It's unique. And I know I try to help the process that is unifying our country and not dividing it.
Well, it's for others to judge, to form their own opinion of those comments. I reject them completely. This is an incredible country. I'm incredibly proud to be Canadian. We have done incredible things, or those who came before us have done incredible things to create this kind, diverse, ambitious, humble country. And what I see and what I would look to be part of is this process that is underway of the country coming together, of unifying. And I want to support that, not divide.
Next question. Next question.
Alex Ballingall with the Toronto Star. You've talked a lot, basically at every rally, and this morning again, about how the United States wants to break us, own us, take our land, water, and resources. Is there a scenario, in your view, where they use or try to use military force to accomplish those goals?
No. Short answer, Alex, is no. No.
And if you could...
No.
Why? Why are you saying that?
Il n'y a pas de scénario Nous sommes,
There's no scenario.
En français,
In French? I'll start in French.
Non, il n'y a pas de scénario.
No, there's no scenario
Les États-Unis utilisent la force militaire.
where the U.S. uses military force. We're still partners. In NATO, for example, there's Article 5 in NATO.
I do think that, if I may switch back to answer the balance of your question, look, the U.S. is trying to put economic pressure on us to gain major concessions and to the extreme of a level of integration of our countries that would impinge our sovereignty. We have to be clear-eyed about this. This is what, these aren't just words. When I say in a crisis, you have to prepare for the worst. And the worst is that is the goal. Take what the president says literally. I take it literally. I always have. Others have said it's a joke. Others ignored it for months. Right from the start, I took it seriously. And because of that, that drives our actions. That drives the strength of our response to their tariffs. That's why we're one of the countries that are retaliating. That drives the strength and the ambition of the economic strategy to build Canada strong. And it will drive our negotiation. We'll be absolutely clear-eyed about the risk. There is a landing place here, but we will not accept anything less than what that is. Thank you.
We'll take one last question from the media delegation before going to locals.
Mr. Carney, Mike Lecouteur with CTV News. In your opening remarks, you said you have a big test on Monday. You've always said that you've been raised with humility as well. So with that humility, give yourself a grade on this campaign.
Well, all the tests that I've taken, the teacher gives you the grade, and Canadians are the teachers in this circumstance.